Hello, everybody. It's Stephen and Walter here for another episode of So Chatty, and it's for August the 14th, 2026. And can you believe it? We're halfway through the month of August.
I can't believe it. It's
I can't
passing
believe it.
right by.
I know, which is kind of scary. The only thing that keeps me going is the fact that usually this time of the year I'm starting to think about going back to school. Now, I haven't gone back to school in 14 years, so, you think I'd be over it. I'm not. I keep having to remind myself that when Labor Day comes, I don't have to go to school the next day. But I've got a ton of things to do, and already I have my poor embroidery machine did some weird things today, and I kind of been putting it off, but it needs to have professional servicing. Thank God we have a second 550E, which is Walter's machine, that sits in a corner upstairs, doesn't get used.
I haven't used it in a while.
So I'll take my machine in for major servicing and cleanup and everything. It's long overdue. Even though I serviced it back last October myself, I need professional as well. In fact, today I found a piece of thread wrapped around something on the inside on a bar, and that's been there for a while, and my machine has been squeaking. I got that out. I gave it some lube and everything up, but it's still not sounding right. And so I imagine it needs to have its timing adjusted. It's a major kind of redo on it, but it's long overdue. So that goes in probably next Tuesday. And in the meantime, I'm using Walter's machine. So yeah, he has a little problem with his machine. He's had it for a long time. What is it? The USB hole?
Yeah, the USB hole doesn't hasn't have that little plastic piece in it anymore. And
how did that happen?
How did that happen? It wasn't by accident. I
always
flipped
is.
it on its side while I was oiling it, and I forgot that I had a USB stick in it.
Let that be a lesson.
And it bent. The USB stick all bent up and damaged the hole.
But it still works. But I have rigged up an extension thing that I have in there, and it's working fine. But I think after my machine comes back, maybe your machine should go in.
Yeah, I probably should.
And it probably wouldn't hurt to have your machine looked at too. I mean, we can do so much with it, but it's still not a replacement for a major, what do you want to call it? Major maintenance, I guess. Excuse me, or that kind of thing. So yeah, don't we have fun? So what have I been up to? Well, you know what I've been up to. This is Tinkerbell. And I finally got it done. This is chapter 4 or 5. I forget. I think it's chapter 4 in the second star to the right, the Art East Peter Pan kit, or whatever you want to call it. When you first look at her and you think, oh, there's not as many little pieces. Yes, there are. Oh, yes, there are. And did I make a mistake on this one? Well, she's kind of got club feet. One foot looks a little better than the other, but I don't know why. But I felt somewhat less bad about it when I checked out the other pictures that people had posted of theirs. And there was one picture where it looks like, I don't know how they did that, but it makes her look like she's standing on her toes, like right up, like, what do you call that in ballet? On point, kind of a thing.
Well, I guess maybe she's flying around, right?
I guess, but you justify, she's fake.
Yeah.
She's not a real thing. Yeah. And I kind of screwed up on the bottom wings, the points. The two long pieces that have these flip and sew, I just want to call them the flip and sew pieces. I got them mixed up, but I mean, I don't mind it. It looks like it goes with it, so not a big deal. Walter thinks her hair looks like a fish. Not my mistake. That's just, and it's not a mistake. It's the way it's designed. I heard somebody say they thought they had made one ear bigger than the other. So I guess I'm not alone. Every one of them is going to be somewhat unique. I know mine. Every one of the blocks I've done so far has got something not quite right with it. But, we persevere. We go on. It's going to be great when it's done. It'll quilt out, as they say. Now, some of you might be wondering, because Walter already did for you, about this side piece with the stars, where that's supposed to go. I'm not sure, but it doesn't go attached directly yet to Tinkerbell. Yeah, there's other pieces that go together because
Mhm.
the next big one, oh, the next one. I'm trying not to think about it. It looks like the most challenging of all the pieces. It's Captain Hook. Oh my God. It has a lot of little pieces. And I really hate little pieces. I'm not good with them. But we're going to carry on. It'll all quilt out. It'll be perfect when it's done, at least in my mind. So, and heaven forbid anybody points anything out in it after it's all put together, they will die. They will die horrible death. Um, Now, what else have I been working on? Well, I have one more thing here. Yeah. Okay, you saw my haul of Christmas fabrics, and then I had to find storage. So I cleaned off a lot of useless stuff that was on these shelves before, and this is now my Christmas shelf, and it's chock full. And in fact, it's not in this picture, but just before we went to start recording this, I have another pile of fabric I bought at Ultimate Sewing the other day, Christmas fabrics. And I didn't want to leave them out of the loop. Now, you'll get a chance to see those on Idiot Quilter next week. But they're now on, I cleaned off the top shelf, the very top, and that's where they sit too. I want all my Christmas fabrics, at least the ones that are in big pieces, all in one spot. So I know what I have. I still have drawers that have bits and pieces of Christmas fabric from other years. And I have a couple of bundles of like fat quarters, that kind of thing. And they're in my little carts that you can't see but are behind us. So yeah, there's just not enough place for all my Christmas fabric. Where'd you put your Christmas fabric?
It's on a shelf on the top. I've got
Oh, you
all my.
found a spot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Not on the floor. Well,
No, no, no.
that's
I've got some stuff to put away yet, though.
yeah. And so have you done done anything on the new shirt you're making
No,
or
I'm
the other
gonna
shirt?
do it tomorrow when we go to
Yeah.
the sew day.
Yeah, tomorrow we have a sew day, an in-person sew day with his sewing people. So that's tomorrow. We'll be off to that. So maybe he'll have something for our live on Sunday to show you. With that, I'm going to be working on the two quilts that are both Adam Sews designs that I started. You've seen them. I've put those back a little bit on hold because I was trying to get the Ardise thing out of the way. And I've got an embroidery project too that I'm working on as well. And you have seen it. I don't have a picture of it up here. It's on my design wall. It's that table runner I've been making from the blocks that were just blocks of poinsettias, and I'm making my own design with that. You'll see all of these things as time goes by. I am sure I will show them to you. So Walter doesn't have anything in free motion quilting to show you today because we are going in a few minutes to go into the Lucy room, and I'm going to show Walter how to clean Lucy. He's been using Lucy to the nth degree, and it's time for Lucy to have a little clean up. And she doesn't usually give me any trouble when I clean her. She seems to be happy if I'm cleaning her, but who knows with Lucy? You know, she loves Walter. She may not, when I'm getting in there in her more intimate parts, she may not like my touch. She'd rather have Walter. Bitch. Okay. Announcements. Sewing with me, Wednesdays as always. Links in the show notes. You know the drill. Pop-up sew day. Now, I hadn't officially declared when it was going to be, although I made it sound kind of official. I said Saturday, August the 22nd. Well, lo and behold, yesterday we got a message from some friends of ours, and they invited us to a barbecue. Actually, it's a pretty big barbecue because they invited about 30 of their closest friends. There you go. And, well, we're going. And that means that that's at about 1 o'clock on the 22nd. And so, yeah, I've moved the date. The date now for the pop-up sew day will be the next Saturday, August the 29th. I was afraid that that was Labor Day weekend, but it is not. So that's a good thing. And yeah, so that's what it'll be. So the week before, I will send that information out of the link to all the people that are on my mailing list, and it'll all be in the show notes for everything I do up to that date in that too. So sorry if a lot of you were really anticipating and you made plans and arrangements for the 22nd. Sorry about that, but I had to choose pop-up so day or 30 gay guys at a barbecue. I don't know what you'd pick, but the choice was obviously clear to me. So, yeah. Okay. So what did we have last or in this past week? Well, on Monday Morning Coffee with me, I talked about Canadian English under attack and a bunch of other things, and I showed you some 3D prints I've been working on and all that. In fact, if you saw the week before that, I had made that 6-pack of beer, pop, whatever you want to put in it, that I made for Lydia's husband, Scott, that came last weekend for a visit. Well, I just got a text message from Lydia today, and they're on their boat, and there in the foreground was the 6-pack with things in it that I had made. She was just showing me that they are using it. So good to know. Practical 3D print. On Idiot Quilter, I showed you in detail the Christmas fabric haul. So you got a good look at everything that I bought. And on our live last week, we talked more about our road trip and our adventures while we were hunting for fabric. So all those are up, of course. If you missed any of them and you're interested, you'll find a link to all of them in the show notes, or just go to the channel. And just as a follow-up on I already showed it to you. I've got it all stored now, so it's all ready to go. And I've got a good couple of Christmases worth, I think, right now. Am I done buying Christmas fabric? Probably. Yeah, I'm not going, unless I see something somewhere off chance that, ooh, that's nice, I have to have that. I think I've spent enough now, because I spent $400 at Ultimate Sewing the other day. So add that to my 1,700. So that's what, 2,100.
Yeah, you got a couple of end of bolts too.
Yes.
Right?
Ultimate Sewing's having a big sale this weekend, and part of that sale is if you buy end of the bolt, you get 25% off. And shh, don't tell anybody, but when I told Shirley that, yeah, we weren't available on Saturday to come in for the big sale because we were going to this sew day, she says, I could let you have it today. So then I felt obligated. She's a good salesperson. I felt obligated, so I bought some background fabrics, because I can never have too much of that. I bought black, white, and gray, and that you'll see on the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. Now, I'm on TV. Well, I'm on something called Monfil TV starting in September. I've talked a lot about Monfil. That's where I buy all my stabilizers and other things like that. Johnny, the owner of it, he asked me some time ago, he's been revamping his website, and he wanted to know if I could make or send some videos I already had involving embroidery, although he said the other day he'll take anything. So, because he's starting this up on his website called Monfil TV. So I said, sure. So I sent him a bunch of videos. I kind of edit them out of these kind of videos that we make. And he sent me a copy of a poster that announces it. He spelt my name wrong. I had to correct him on that. I'm not a Stepan, I'm a Stephen. But anyways, it says on there, this Sunday, 10 a.m. on Monfil. Well, it's not alive. And it doesn't have an actual date. And I'm not sure exactly what date that Sunday would be, whether that's the first one in September or the second. He has other videos up there. But if you want to see what the setup looks like, just go to monfil.ca, look at the menu bar, and there's one called Monfil TV, and you'll see there. I think he's trying to create sort of a video library of, how to use many of the products that they sell. But it's not specific to the actual product they sell. The type of product, yes, but not necessarily specific to their line of thread or their line of stabilizers. So anyways,
I
yeah,
mean, you use their stabilizers,
all the
but you
time.
don't usually use their thread.
No,
Whereas when I do embroidery, I mean, I haven't done it for a while. I have all the colors of their thread that they sell. So,
yeah.
when
And you've
I
always
do
had
it,
good luck
I've
with it.
always used it.
Yeah.
So,
I just use Floriani, as everybody
yeah,
knows, because that's what I started with.
their thread is actually quite a bit cheaper
Yeah, it is.
than Floriani is. Like you can get for the price of what you would pay a regular cone of 1,000 meters Floriani, you can get a cone that has 5,000 meters of their stuff on it.
Yeah. Might not be as many colors to choose
No, they
from.
have 100 yeah, sometimes with some patterns I end up substituting some Floriani because it has more colors in it than some of like the ones Montville sells purples. They're a little limited in some of their purples. They have 175 colors in their
Whereas Floriani has
over 300.
more than the 300.
No, it's 300 and something. It's 350 or something.
I have 600.
Yeah, but there are probably duplicates.
Well, there's a few duplicates, not that many.
Well, there isn't 600 colors. Look, you can look them up.
Well, looks like 600 colors to me.
Hmm.
I mean, I have a lot of duplicates. Okay. Anyways, one thing though, the other day I was in Ultimate Sewing because that's where I get my stuff from, and she has the colors that are most popular, but I like to have other ones, and I couldn't find some of the ones that I wanted. Now I could have her order them for me, but then I got thinking, I have a lot of glide thread, which will work as embroidery thread. I use it for long arming,
Yeah.
but I'll never go through those threads in 1,000 years, the number I've got. So I think if there's a color I can't find in my collection, I think I will go to my glide collection, and between the two I should have what I need with that. I mean, I really need to use them, so yeah. But anyways, yeah, so if you're looking for embroidery thread, do check out Montville as well
Yeah.
for it, because it's good price, good quality. All
Yeah,
the
they
stuff is good
also have
quality.
like a starter pack. I don't know, sometimes they're out of stock on the starter pack,
Hmm.
but their spools of 1,000 meters are about half the price of a glide or Floriani
Yeah.
of the 1,000 meters. So it's worthwhile looking, and they sometimes have a 50 pack which is substantially less than what you would pay
I should
for
take a
each.
look. I should take a look into that.
Yeah,
That might be. Of course, mind you, I could use yours.
it's the 50 pack of all the most popular
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah. Possibilities for spending money. What was that? I heard
That was MOVA.
Oh, it's Mova. The vacuum cleaner talks to us too.
It may have gotten stuck or something.
No, it probably has done what it was doing up there, and likes to make sure. Of course, it didn't go ringy dingy. Usually ringy dingies me. All these devices that talk to you. So, anyways, what else can we tell you? There was something else I was going to say until I got off track. Oh yes, on next Tuesday on Idiot Quilter as well, I have made a video about how to float stabilizer and when you'll want to do that. Oh, now it's done. Okay. Because I've had a few people when I've said, well, I'm just floating my stabilizer, that look at me funny or write a comment like, what do you mean float it? And so I thought, okay, I guess people don't understand that technique or didn't know that technique existed. So I have made a video that will be part of the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that if you've ever been interested in what to do.
Yeah, a lot of people think they have to hoop everything.
Yeah, and you don't. And well, I talk about all the ins and outs of that and how to do it. Okay, so that's on Tuesday. All right. Anything in all of this category you want to add? Any exciting things coming up?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we are going to move into the Lucy room, and we're going to show you how we give Lucy a little cleanup job, because she's a dirty girl. She is. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so we're in the Lucy room right now, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what you need to clean your long arm. These are all things that it was shown to me by Tracy at Whirls and Swirls. And I've read things about this too. Actually, cleaning up your long arm is very, very easy. But when should you do it? I do it pretty much after every quilt that I do, because thread is linty, dusty. You don't want any of that stuff in your machine because it'll make your long arm not perform, and you'll have, if you're getting a lot of frequent thread breaks, you should really, that should be an indicator. You need to clean it, you need to lubricate it, and you probably need to put in a new needle. And a lot of people say, well, when do you put in a new needle? I don't put one in after every quilt. I will be putting one in today, but I usually, after a couple of quilts, I'll put in a new needle. And I have a chart over on the far side, but you can't see it right now, which I log when I've cleaned, what I'm going to do today.
Actually, I don't know if you need to put a new needle in today because remember we replaced it recently.
Yeah, but I was going to show them how to put in a new
okay.
needle, so we're going to do that anyways with it. So yeah, so this is a complete cleaning, and I'm going to show you the things that I need for this. This little thing. You know these as little disposable roasters. I have a piece cut out of here, and I'll show you why in a minute. So you need something like that. It's for catching the oil and other things that might fall down. You're going to need some 10W40 spray. Now, a lot of people think
that's WD-40.
or W. What did I say?
1040.
That's for a car. No, don't use this in your car, and don't use your car oil for this. I'm just gonna put this little, if I can. I don't think that's the right one. No, I lost my little thingy, but that's okay. It'll still work. WD-40 is not an oil, and a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a solvent.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't use this for lubricating. We're going to use it to clean out debris, bits of thread, that kind of thing, because it'll dissolve those. I'll show you how it works with that. You will need your sewing machine oil as well, and it's a good idea to get one that has this little pull-out thing, because when you get into oiling your bobbin case, it's in an awkward spot, so you need something where you can get this in. You will need a bottle of isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol. I use 99%, just because I can get it at Costco. You can go to the dollar store, you can get a bottle of this. It may not be 99, it might be 70.
It's probably 70.
And there really doesn't make any difference in this case. You just want something that dries very quickly and cleans off any sticky or anything like that that can get on your machine. You're going to need some screwdrivers because we're going to be taking off the foot plate, and so you'll need the screwdrivers appropriate to whatever screws are in there. This is a flathead. That's for taking out the screw that holds in the needle. This is a Phillips. Is it a Phillips? Star. It's a star-shaped one.
Which is Phillips.
And that takes off the plate. You'll see how that works in a minute. It's always good to have a little magnetic tray. Let's see. Because you're going to be taking out some screws, and you don't want to lose them, and they're small. So this holds them in place. And I have a little straight pin here too, and you're going to wonder, what's that for? Well, you're going to find out. You're going to want a new set of needles, whichever ones that you use for your machine. The ones I use, I get from Tracy, and they are 110/18 4.0, 10 in a package, and it's 134 MRDP times 5 MR 1955 MR, and there's a lot of numbers and things here. Ask your dealer, but most of these are pretty standard.
What brand are they?
This is Gross Beckert.
Yeah, I think that's a German brand.
Yeah. I buy them in the 10 packs. They're not that expensive, and so yeah, don't cheap out. Change your needles, because they get dull and they can get bent, and then it's going to rip your quilt. So for what these cost, have a supply. Also, you're going to want something to put your spent needles in, your sharps. This little handy box. Actually, I got this. Ultimate Sewing was giving these out when time of the year, and it's a handy little thing. But any container, because you don't want to just throw them in your garbage, because you might poke somebody, yourself, the garbage people, whatever. Now, some people actually go to their local drugstore, and I don't know if you have to pay a fee or not, but you can get like the one of those little buckets they use for putting in their needles in as well, and you can take that back to them, and they'll dispose of them as well. To date, I have never disposed of any of these. My whole collection of spent needles are in here. You're going to want some paper towels. Better yet, these are shop towels. They're stronger and they have a lot less lint in them. So, you know, if you're using ordinary paper towels and you're wiping down, as you're going to see, you're trying to get rid of any lint that's in there. You don't want to add more. So the blue shop towels are a good thing to invest in. And I think that's about it. Okay, before you begin, you got to do a few things. One, take all your thread out. Take out a bobbin, if there's still a bobbin in there, to unthread your machine. And this is your bobbin right here.
You are using an L bobbin on yours.
Yes, mine's an L bobbin. There is something called an M bobbin. They're bigger, but it was recommended to us by our dealer to go with the L because there's a lot of problems with the M's. Yes, they hold more thread, less times you have to stop your machine, put it in a new bobbin, but as they start to wind off, it becomes irregular because of the size of them, and that can cause you some tension difficulties. So that's why I have the L. Now, that's a decision you have to make before you buy a long arm, because once you have a long arm, you can't switch it out, the bobbin. It has to be either the L or the M.
Yeah, the L doesn't hold as much thread as the M does, but
No,
but
it's less problems.
Yeah.
Now, to clean this, clean. That's all I do. However, there is a little piece up here. When you put your thread in, it's showing up here, there's a little groove, and the thread comes up and over here, and there's a little clip, and then it pulls down. Under this little bracket that's here, there sometimes can be lint and dust in there. You need to blow it out, but if you can't get it out, if you take the edge of a credit card or a business card, you can just run it under there and that'll clean out the dirt. That doesn't happen often, but just in case, it's good to inspect it when you have it out to make sure there isn't any problems. And there isn't. Now, if you don't like blowing on things, you can get an air compressor. Now, we have a big industrial type air compressor over in the corner. I'm not going to use it today because it's very, very loud. It'll drive you nuts. But I bought this one recently, and I use this on my regular sewing machines and my embroidery machines, and it works very well here. It's very powerful. I'll just turn it on. That's the highest power, but you can regulate it if you see those 3 dots. And that's the lowest setting. So I'm going to put the highest setting, and then it just goes. You see it's lower. You got to hold that in. There's a lot of force with this little thing. It recharges.
And what about using canned air?
No, do not use canned air. Here is why. This is dry air. Canned air has a propellant in it, which is basically moisture. And if you're trying to get rid of lint and you blow moisture into it, it's still going to be, even if it feels dry, it'll attract lint as you're working on it, and you're going to get big lint balls in there. So no, these are not expensive. There's all kinds of different models. This one came from Amazon. It is called Wolf Box Mega Flow 50, and just do a search on Amazon for compressed air or whatever things, and there's all kinds of different ones. I really like this one. I had another one that I used a lot of times for my domestic sewing machines, but I have found it doesn't hold its charge much anymore. So I got this one, and as I say, it's rechargeable. There's a little USB. Everything comes with a USB plug these days, and it takes no time to charge it up, and it holds the charge well, and because you're only going to use it for a few seconds, because it's strong. I would have done that on Walter's head, but there's nothing to blow there. So that's what we're going to use today, but generally speaking, I turn on the compressor that's in a far corner over here, and away I go. But this will work fine. Okay, so those are all the things that you need. So let's get set up here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my shop towels, and I'm going to put it in the bottom of my tray. Why? Because I can reuse the tray and I'm cheap. Yeah, you get a package of 3,000 of these at the dollar store, and I've cut out this piece and I'll show you why in a minute, but why? Why put it in recycling if I can reuse it? Okay, so if we look here at Lucy, I'm going to move it over here a little bit. Down here, now, I don't know if Walter did it. That's where your bobbin goes, and I've got the bobbin case out right now. Can you
Let me see if I can get my knees.
You'll probably never get back up.
Yeah, but
See, right in there. We got to clean that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put this tray right here, and this is why the cutout is there.
okay.
All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my WD-40. And I'm going to spray it. You don't need a lot, but this does go all over the place, and this is why this is a drip tray. And I'm going to spray it on that inside of that bobbin case. And that's all you really need. And so if you look in there, you notice that it's dripping. I probably have more than I need in there. But what I'm going to do now is you let it sit for a couple of seconds. And remember, this is a solvent. Mm-hmm. Lucy is on, but I've taken the stitch regulator off. So all I'm going to do is I want my needle to go up and down and for the hook to rotate around to clean out crap. So I'm just going to... And the reason you hear that beep, 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 beep is because it's detected there isn't any thread, and it's perfectly normal. So you let this run for, 30 seconds or so. And so it's moving that solvent around inside of there, and if there's any little small pieces of thread or whatever, it kind of dissolves them or kicks them out. Okay, that's good. And then I take my shop towel and I'm just wiping the drips. I'm just absorbing everything. And we'll see how dirty this is. Not too bad, but there's some dirt on here. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all I need to do under there. So now we're going to work our way up, and I need my screwdrivers for this. I'm going to, even though this is a relatively new needle, I am going to take it out. So flathead screwdriver, and there's a screw on the side, just like on your sewing machine. So I just need to loosen this off. Just gently pull it, and so the needle's out. Now I'm putting the needle, before I do anything else, because you don't want it dropping down or inside your machine, I'm putting in my little disposable box. I'm not going to put a new needle into it yet, because I want to clean this, take this little plate off. Now this is something that people don't often do, but there is a gap under here, and you will be surprised at how much gunk is under this. Now before I do that, I need my little cup, and because it's magnetic, it can sit right there or right there, and this will keep from losing my screws. I recommend
you don't want to screw loose.
No, you don't. I recommend that you get some extra screws. I have a package of extra screws just in case, because if it drops here on the floor, I'm never going to find it. Plus, I have this tray here still, because this also helps if I flip out a screw. They're not really very long. And you do want a short-handled screwdriver like I'm using, because that's going to make your life a little easier, because you see I'm right underneath the throat here. Okay, slide it off. See the dirt? See the dirt? Mm-hmm. And see the dirt? Mm. So you take your shop towel and you give this a wipe. if you want to use a little rubbing alcohol, you can.
I notice there's a little plume of stuff coming from the bobbin area.
What? This?
Yeah.
Yes, I was just going to say, there is a piece of thread caught in there. So, before you go to, once you've got this wiped down, do inspect in here. And this is where you want to now use your solvent. And I think there's another little piece. So you may want to use some tweezers. I didn't mention tweezers before. There looks like there's a little... Oh no, that's just the edge of the hook. Okay,
Yeah.
It's my eyesight. But just inspect it and pull anything out that you see in there.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be big gobs of stuff tangled in there. But then take your WD-40 and we're gonna squirt it in there, and then we're just going to let it rotate for about. And you see any excess solvent, it throws it out. Again, this is why the tray with the paper towel in the bottom, it absorbs that. That should be good. And then what I do is, I just, because there's a little bit of excess that ran off, and I just sort of dab in there.
A little dab will do.
A little dab will do you. Yeah. And now I want to oil it. So I'm going to grab my long neck oil bottle here, and it's probably easier with the plate off to get at this, but sometimes I don't always take the plate off every time I clean it. But sometimes you just go in from under here, and I don't know if you can get this. It's very awkward, but this is why you have the long neck. Mm-hmm. And all you need is a couple of drops. And you just put them in at the base of it. And I'll put a little drop there. That's all you need. You don't need it gushing.
So you just put single drops in, right?
Yep. Yep, just single drops. And run it again. Okay, that's good. And again, just dab up any excess. You don't want any oil pooling anywhere because it could get onto your quilt the next time you put a quilt on there, and you don't want that. Okay, I'm lubed. You also might want to just wipe down the foot because dust accumulates.
And there's stuff on the needle shaft, or the part here, up here too.
Oh, yeah. And you can do this with alcohol. I just use the same rag because the oil doesn't hurt it. Okay, so that looks good. Might be a little, you could use a Q-tip in this too. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put that plate back on. Now, there is a trick. There's a right side and a wrong side. If you notice these screw holes, they're beveled inward. That's the top. But where this hole is, and ask me how I know this, first time I ever did this, I put the plate in wrong because that hole is not dead center. So if you put this on and don't pay attention, see there's a problem here? If I have my needle in here, it will hit the plate, and that can knock your timing out. Don't do it. And you'll only do this once because your machine will make a horrible noise. So make sure you have it in the right orientation.
Well, you got to be pretty dopey if you do that.
Have you ever done this? No, really. Yeah, like I said, You only do it once. Now I need my other screwdriver again, and I'm just going to put my screws back in. Now I don't tighten them right up at first. I just bring them down. And the last one. Okay, now once they're all seated in there, then you can tighten them up. Now, don't wrench it, just until you really can't tighten it anymore. Okay, that's done.
Okay.
Now I've got a little bit of gooey on my plate, so I'm just going to wipe that down. Okay, now there's one other place that needs oil. We can remove that. And that is at the top. Up here. There are 4 little wicks hanging out. Don't pick these out. They're supposed to be there. And what you do is you take a dry finger. I need a dry finger. A little oily. By the way, use a proper sewing machine oil. You don't have to buy one that says Long Arms, because I don't think there is one. It's called Long Arms. This is just a good quality, clear sewing machine oil. Don't use 3-in-1 or any of those other ones. No, you want this. This is a very fine oil.
The
Again,
3-in-1 and all the other stuff, any stuff that isn't sewing machine oil will gum up your machine eventually.
yeah. And these don't cost a lot. And
No.
look, this is my original bottle, and I've had Lucy. How many years have we had Lucy now? 5?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's how much I've used. Okay. It lasts forever. All right. So what you do is you take a nice dry finger. So my finger's dry. And you just pass her that. And if you, oh, see, I got oil.
Yeah.
I don't need to oil it. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. I don't need to oil these. But if my finger came pretty dry off of these, then I would put 1 drop of oil on the top of these. If you put more than 1 drop, the oil has to go somewhere, and it's going to go down inside this mechanism, and it's going to leak out down here, and it's going to get all over your quilt. So 1 drop. You'll be tempted to use more. Don't use more.
Yeah.
1
And it is
drop.
common for people to use too much.
Yes.
And they get it all over the quilt.
Yep. A little drop is enough. Okay. So that brings us to the rubbing alcohol stage. Now the first thing is I'm going to take another shot towel and my rubbing alcohol. Now if Walter can get in here to look at this, there's a track on here.
Yeah.
Right here. This is rail. This is what this.
On EPQS, that's called the bliss track.
Yeah. And little pieces of lint and fuzz and stuff can get on it. So it's a good idea to take your rubbing alcohol and your paper towel, get it pretty soaked, and then do this. All you do is just wipe it down. Now, it's not just the top rail you're wiping, but this part of the track under here as well. So that's where
The under part here, right?
Yep.
Right there?
yep,
Yeah.
all of that. You can do this part too. This doesn't have anything going on it, but if it's dusty, it doesn't hurt. And then just move your head out of the way and carry on all the way to the end. Right now, Lucy's separated. The computer's separated from the main part because Walter's doing free motion, so you don't need that part. So it does allow you to separate the 2 parts. It's kind of like the old Star Trek series where, you know,
The head
the saucer came off, the rest of it, well, that's kind of this way too. Also, while you're here, it doesn't hurt to just give a little wipe on any of the exposed metal areas down in here. We're going to talk about the wheels in a minute. This little piece here. Now, one thing you might want to do, and a lot of times I forget to do it, it's not really major, but it can't hurt. I'm just wiping down all of this and up here on the top, get away any of the dust bunnies. I mean, this is just cosmetic for that part. But this part in here, there's little brushes.
Yeah.
And you can get fuzz in there. So you just take your blaster. Both sides. Now, I doubt very much there was anything in here I had to worry about, but I'm showing you the whole thing. So, okay. Where to put my rubbing up? There it is. Okay. So now we're going to go over to the other side of the machine. I'm just wiping down this, dust off, around here, motor. Okay. So, same thing.
You've got another track on this side, right?
Yeah. Same as the other side. You're doing the same thing. And you come to this, the platform here, and get a little light now that you can reach it.
This flat piece here used to be where you put pantographs on
Yes.
if you didn't have a free motion machine.
And it has a plastic sheet on it where the pantograph goes underneath it. The paper one protects it. And it gets dusty. So I just give it a little wipe as well. Oops. Okay, now you want to pull your head back. And you've got these wheels. You got a wheel here, you got a wheel here, and you have one on the opposite sides too. There's, first of all, this little piece of steel that they ride on. Just wipe it down, just like what we did on both sides. And this quilt's in my way.
It's quite dirty under Lucy's head there.
Where?
Here on this side, if you look. Here, come here. Go. If you pull it back, here, it's quite dirty here.
Oh. Yes, it was. I missed that. It's got
Here.
killer fuzz balls.
Give me that thing.
No, I'll do it. You
Okay.
got the camera. That's the camera. Okay, that's pretty good. And I've done the edges of the steel. So now to do the wheels. And you do, see, look at that.
Yeah, those bunnies.
Okay. In fact, look at this. This is what I picked up. Now, a lot of this is dust, like right here.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's just dust. That it wasn't necessarily in the machine, but you know, let's be clean about it. Okay, I'm going to need another paper towel, another shop towel. So you've got an idea of how much I cleaned up on Lucy. Told you she's a dirty girl. And this is one thing that Tracy told me that a lot of people forget to do. You need to clean the inside of these wheels. These wheels have a groove in them, and they rest on this track. And that's what makes it go back and forth. So you see there's a groove? So you take your paper towel, and you kind of fold it up so you've got a bit of an edge. Oops.
Oops. You get high smell on that stuff.
Hello, man. Pretty colors. And then stick the edge of that in there, and then just roll it.
I'm not getting that very well.
What, you're not getting it?
Yeah, I had the camera on the bad spot.
Just like that. Do the other one. And you can see.
Ooh.
Yep, that's pretty normal. And I'm going to do the other side as well. So there's what I got out of those wheels. It's hard to believe that that could be, but
Well, that could also be a little piece of the rubber too that you're swiping away.
well, yeah, it might be. Yeah, well, wear and tear over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all right. There's one other spot, and I'm gonna have to move her over here so Walter can get it. Okay, under this part at the back. I'm just gonna fold my towel. Get this a little bit wet. Under here, under this platform, there are ball bearings. So this will be hard to show you. And I don't know if Walter can you see the ball bearings? It looks like 3.
I don't know if I can see it or not.
Where are they? Yeah, right under here.
Wait, her.
See, there's
I can't see. Let me see.
It's hard to get, but it's right here. You have to do it by feel.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a
the
wheel.
wheel there. I was in the wrong spot all along.
So what you're doing is it's a bearing. You're just taking some of the rubbing alcohol, going over it. Now, should you lubricate that? I don't know. I have never read anything that says it needs lubrication. It's just a wheel, but it just cleans off dirt because it sits here. And you see, I got a little.
Yeah.
I got a little. Okay. So that's it. That's all you have to do. It doesn't take long. You saw how long because we did it in real time.
No, so it's been running about a little over 30 minutes. So.
Oh yeah. Well, of course I explained the parts and everything like that when I was doing it. Now what I would do now is, you see I have a chart on here. Date. So let's see. Bobbin case. Last time I did the bobbin case was April 30th. Well, all of this. Oiled the wicks on April the 30th. Notice sometimes I don't oil the wicks. Like today I'm not oiling the wicks, so that'll get a dash. Wheels and rails. Needle plate, I did that today. I don't do it every time. Bearings, that's the part we just did. And then needle replace. That's what we're going to do next, is how to replace the needle. So I will mark later in that chart, and I'll know when the last time it was that I gave Lucy a thorough cleaning. But as I said, it's a good idea to give your long arm a thorough cleaning after every quilt. Okay, replacing the needle. So I need my screwdriver, this, and I've already taken the needle out. Now the thing about replacing a long arm needle that's different from replacing your sewing machine needle is that a sewing machine needle has a flat side and a round side. A long arm needle, let me get that way, it's all round. So how do you know if you're putting it in the right way? Well, it's important it goes in the right way. If you notice on the needle, there's something called the scarf right along here. There's this little cutout. That has to go facing inwards, facing the back, let's put it that way, of your machine. So the first thing you need to do, now I need one more thing. I needed that little needle I showed you earlier. I'm going to explain what that's for. Okay, so I want to make sure the scarf is at the back, that little curved, is that showing up?
It's a little blurry, I think. Okay.
The little curved piece right here,
Yeah.
that's going towards the back. So I put it in, and I'll tighten this just enough to keep this thing from falling out. Then I'm going to take a straight needle, hopefully it's straight, and I'm going to put it in the needle hole. So you're going to need a pin that is fine enough that you can do that. Okay, it's just in there. And now I'm going to use it to turn the needle. I may have to loosen off a bit. And I want this to be straight. Right out here.
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular to the plate.
Yeah, so.
Okay. And then tighten it and use your screwdriver. Now again, you don't need to retch this, but you want to make sure it's going to hold in. Okay, now comes the test, and this is scary. To make sure it's where it's supposed to be, because you know, when the needle goes down, it's timed with the hook. So when the needle drops thread down, the hook spins around, makes a loop, and the needle goes back down and pulls up that hoop. So it has to be, or that loop. So it's got to be in there right. You have a little bit of leeway to play with it. So I have my machine with the stitch regulator turned off, and I'm not going to let it go up and down and up fast. I'm just going to drop it once. And then back up. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to try. Okay, that's fine. If that wasn't lined up correctly, when I dropped it down the first time, you probably would hear a clink. It's hit the hook. You don't want to hit the hook. That's why I did it, because you can't really slow the machine down to any, you know, what's the word I want? Any perceivable. That's not the right word. Anyways, you know what I mean. You can't slow it down. So, that's how I know that I've got it in the right spot. You'll know if you don't have it in the right spot, but you don't want to go there. All right. That's it. That's all there is. Make sure I put my regulator back on. And I can turn Lucy off. That's all you have to do. You know, it is worth the effort to do this regular basis. You know, I sing all the time about a domestic machine. We tell you, clean your machine regularly. You'll run into less problems. It is even more important with your long arm, because your sewing machine may have cost $3,000 or more. Your long arm, well, this one right here, cost with the quilt path $40,000 Canadian. So I have a dealer near me who's a certified technician. She could fix probably anything that went wrong with this machine, but not everybody has that luxury. If you have to send your machine out to the manufacturer, like APQS is somewhere in the States, this is heavy. This is going to cost you in shipping, and you're going to be without your machine for a long time. So preventative maintenance, regularly done, is going to save you a lot of anguish. So don't let it go. Do it regularly. And as I said before, I recommend you clean it after every quilt.
Cleaning is sometimes something people overlook, especially their sewing machines.
Yeah. It's important to take, and you saw how little time it took, and actually it took longer because I was talking and explaining things. If I was standing here by myself doing it, it would take me less than 10 minutes to do everything that I showed you how to do. But it's important to do it. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, so that's Clean and Lucy. Any questions? Walter, do you have any questions? Because you've never cleaned Lucy.
No, I haven't, but I sort of know what you have to do.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's fairly logical.
Yeah.
With it. Okay, we're going to return back to our other computer.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Okay, so we're back in front of the regular computer screen right now. So I hope you found that helpful. I don't know how interesting it was. It's one of those jobs you just have to do. There's no buts or ands about it. You have to do it. Okay, so let's move on to comments from last week. Well, it seemed like everybody were writing comments about how much they enjoyed seeing my fabric stash, what we bought, and things about our trip. So I'm glad. Some people said that they were shopping vicariously through us. Whatever floats your boat. But there were a few other comments. One about the Art East kits. Sarah writes, I just ordered the Winnie the Pooh quilt from Art East. I'm nervous to get started when it arrives. I'm going to be honest with you. Be nervous. However, get over that. I think the best strategy with an Art East quilt is to do it, to have in your mindset that this is not a project you're going to finish by a specific date, because you're putting undue pressure on yourself. And there's going to be lots of pressure in all the little pieces you need to cut, keeping them all in the correct order and sewing them all together. This is a quilt project you cannot rush. So if you decide, oh, look, there's going to be a new baby in my family in 4 months' time. No, wait till they're a year old. Start on it now. Wait till they're a year old.
They won't notice it until they're probably won't have their first recollection until 3 years. So.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, don't put the pressure on yourself. It is very easy to make a mistake in your cutting or even sewing parts together. Nothing to do with John's instructions. His instructions are very clear, but you need to slow down. You need to have a highlighter in your hand, and you need to break down his instructions into one point at a time. And, you're going to get tired very quickly. Allow for that. Don't think I'm going to get one of the characters completely done today. That's all I'm going to concentrate on. You will come back with a headache. This is supposed to be fun. So do it that way. Okay? That's my advice. Maybe you're the kind of person this is not a problem. You can zip through it. And if you are that kind of person, my hat's off to you, because I am not. But yes, these are a challenge. But it's not so much of a challenge that it's insurmountable. You can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Now, mind you, I do it with a lot of cursing and swearing, but I still do it. Rachel says, you could have a shirt, and this is for Walter, with the cat print. Just have a solid black maybe. Love the haul, which one was the one that was a glow in the dark? Did you end up buying it? Yes, I did end up buying it, and right now it was the one that's the lighter. In fact, if I take you up here, it is the one.
I think isn't the one that's about 1, 2, 3.
Which row?
4, fifth row, fifth down on the middle section, and
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, the black one with the. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor.
On the right hand side, middle shelf, it's about 1, 2.
There's a red,
3.
a greeny white, a darker color, a really dark color with gold things, and then the one that's got the
It's black with white.
Yeah, black and white, the snowflakes. The snowflakes glow in the dark. They don't really glow like vibrantly. There's just, you got to be in a really dark room for it, and it has just a little bit of a glow to it. I just like the pattern in it.
Mm-hmm.
The glow part was just an added bonus, and
Yeah.
I didn't buy it for that reason. I just like the pattern. But yeah, that's the one. Okay. Carol Sows says, while I was watching you display your haul, I did some Google research on quilting cotton made in Pakistan. If you remember, we bought some fabric at Michael's.
Yeah.
And in Canada, at least out in my end, someone told me that in Toronto, the Michael's theirs had fabric for a long time, but out where I live, not so much. At least they had little bits of fabric, like fat quarters kind of a thing, and one yard cuts and things like that. But now they had on the bolt. And I looked at it, and most of their fabrics were made in Pakistan. And I don't know. I've never had fabric, at least that I know of, that was made in Pakistan.
Actually, it's funny, when we were in the quilt store yesterday, I was looking at some fabric, and I think it might have been the glow. Shirley had some glow in the dark fabric, which I wondered if she had it for sale or something like that. Anyway, I was reading the manufacturer on it, and it said made in Pakistan.
Okay, so I guess I've just never picked up on that. So, but this is what Carol says. She says, if the sources are correct, and I saw more than one that said the same thing, Pakistan is known for not only their gray goods, but also for the digital printing of fabric. One source recommended test washing a swatch before washing the whole piece of fabric. Yeah, but I think what we're saying here is, yeah, the fabric there is probably okay. It feels fine.
Yeah, some of their prints are a little bit hokey.
Yeah, but I didn't buy the hokey prints.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just thought, and it was cheap. It was $10 a meter. Like, where do you buy fabric for $10 a meter?
Yeah, we saw it. Whoa, it said $10 on there, and I thought, well, does that mean a meter, or does that mean half a meter?
No, meant a meter.
No, and they even had some on sale for like $5 and $7.
Yeah,
it was ugly fabric. But...
yeah, it was ugly, but yeah, they had that. But how come I'm ringing? Oh, well, you know. But anyways, yeah. So thank you, Carol, for doing the research on that. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to take a little piece of it and wash it and see what happens. I don't think I have to worry about that, and I'll be really honest. I never wash my fabrics anyways, so I'll take my chances. If I think about it beforehand, because right now it's sitting on my shelf. I don't know what I'm doing.
I guess what happens is when you normally buy fabric, we haven't really been checking on the bolts where it's made.
No. So, and I mean, I don't think there's many places, if any at all. I know in Canada, I don't think there's any place in Canada that makes fabric. like the gray goods. And I think that's the same in the States. Now, there may be places where they get the gray goods and they print, if it's digitally printed or whatever, they will print it themselves.
Yeah, like a place like Spoonflower, right?
Yes.
But the fabric still comes from a manufacturer that's probably out of the
offshore.
country.
Yeah.
So
you know, I don't know. It took me by surprise. Also, it was the combination of that and the price.
yeah.
I thought, $10 a
Now
meter?
you can't use any of the discount coupons.
No, they don't
on,
let you use the discount coupons.
And it sounded to me like more and more of their items in the store were not able. You can't use the discount.
No,
coupon,
because
yeah.
they've moved to sort of a club thing.
Mhm.
You know, and I don't know if there's a fee you pay for that or whatever. I don't shop at Michael's anymore, very rarely, because I used to go to Michael's all the time as a scrapbooker because they had, you know, all the stuff for scrapbooking and that kind of thing. But I need to check out the Michael's here. We have one not too far away from us, just to see if they have fabrics like this, or is this sort of depends on the store. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, they were beginning to get into 3D printing as well.
Yeah, I looked at that. They have a knockoff bamboo A1 by Creality is making it for like $500, and they're selling filament, and the filament is really a good price. It's PLA. I don't know. I haven't heard any reviews on it. I have a feeling though PLA is pretty much PLA for the most part, but like $15.49 for a 1 kilogram roll. Well, I pay for bamboo filament $30 for a 1 kilogram roll. So, yeah, but they only had green, which was very strange.
But the lady said they had got filament in before the printer came in.
Yeah,
and they had a bunch of it, and it all sold out except for the green.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess it's worth a check in Michael's, and you know, fabric, you may have more of a selection in your area at your Michael's, I don't know. But now that for the Americans anyways, Joann's, where everybody used to go, is Kaplook.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a quilt store close to you, but you have a Michael's, you know, maybe. Of course, there's always online. And that's a whole conversation that we've already had many times over, whether or not do you like to buy fabric online or not. And I know all of the things about, no, you like to feel it.
Well, for quilting cotton, it's not that hard to buy online, I don't think, because quilting cotton is usually pretty standard, especially from a regular manufacturer.
If you know the manufacturer of it, then you know what you're going to get.
But some people, it sometimes is hard when you're buying clothing fabric for, like, if you're buying jersey or if you're buying a knit fabric or something like that. You can go by the weight. The weight should be published, right? But even then, you're not still. I'm not sure familiar with all the different weights. You might want to go in and feel it type of thing.
Yeah.
It's
but
harder.
anyways, whatever floats your boat, whatever you like. I basically will buy online, and I don't think I've ever been really
like if
unhappy.
you buy Tula Pink online,
Tula
Pink, right? So
yeah. But anyways, now you open up a whole discussion for another day.
Yeah.
We've had this discussion several times in the past. Anyways, that's it for us today. So remember, Pop-Up Sew Day is not Saturday, August 22nd. It will be Saturday, August 29th. But more about that later. So hope you have a good week. Tune in to our live. We're going to be talking about scammers. And scammers, and I just heard something really interesting today when I was watching the news about scammers, AI, and forest fires. So you might want to tune into this Stephen and Walter Live this Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. for that. Okay. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Hi, I'm just going to interrupt my program for just 1 second to remind you to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for future notifications. That's all I ask of you. Show me a little love. Thanks.